Howdy, this is Rich Hostetler. Here, I've got a 2-year-old filly that I'm breaking in 1.5 hour sessions, and I've got 3 days of videos. I try to show the important stuff, but I'm not a great video editor. That's not what I do. But this filly has been whole broke, that's it. Never been in a round pen, never been saddled or anything. She's quite tame, good-minded, a little bit stubborn. But here, I just want to move her around, get her attention, and try to get her to face me, which that took a little bit. But I'm big on getting them to face up and getting them to follow me with their nose. I feel like I can control all my situations better, and just build confidence and communicate to my horse better that way. I did struggle a little bit with getting her to face up, which it's the first day, it's to be expected. I did get her right here, stop and rest, and that's another thing I'm big on, stopping and rest, and then big release, pressure and release. And yeah, here, like I said, she's stubborn. I moved on to a holder because I felt like I could communicate to her more clearly what I was asking for her to face up. And it worked. I was able to communicate to her without pulling on her face really hard and beating on her to face up, which is what I wanted. I trained to be as clear as possible to the horse. And this is new to me. I've never done a cold starting competition, so I usually take my time and don't saddle on the first day, but I feel like it worked pretty good the first time I did it. This is the first time I did it. And yes, like I said, it worked to put her on a holder. I feel like I could get her to face up better. She started moving a little bit better. And here, desensitizing before I move on to a saddle. Just get her used to me being all over her, rubbing on her, moving around, not being slow around her, moving like it doesn't bother her. I don't show everything, but I went through all my steps, got her to move her behind away from me on a holder, got her to flex, which I should have shown. Now I'm realizing that, but I don't edit videos. It was hard enough for me to edit this thing the way it is. And here, instead of trying to use my pad and my saddle, I have a tarp because it's easy to handle, light, and it makes a lot of noise, and I can get her used to having something scary on her back, which it didn't take too long before she was completely fine with it. She fought a little bit. The way I edited it, I made her look pretty good, but she was really good, and I felt comfortable with moving on to now. Or I should say, I felt like she was ready. Put it that way. I'm big on building confidence, building the horse's confidence, and that builds my confidence. And here I'm just making noise, just trying to see how she feels about having a pad and having me jump around and be on her back. No surprises. I want to move around and get my horses to being used to me moving around and making noise, because that's what they have to be used to. Bear with me on my talking skills. I usually train in silence alone. But hey, this is something new, something I want to work on and get better at, and it's getting better. I like trying new things. And here she moved around quite a bit, but I just kind of threw it on because I didn't want her to think she could get away with it and make a problem. So I just kind of set it on and got her to stop. I don't show it, but I pulled it off of her right there, just to let her know that it's nothing to be afraid of. And this is the first time she's been cinched up. I didn't cut that out. And you probably won't be able to notice because it's on the opposite side, but I cinch right up and don't tighten up and then loosen it, because I've caused too many wrecks that way, had the saddle slip underneath and got the horse scared of the saddle, so I just cinch up right away. I know there's a chance of them scaring off a little bit easier, or I shouldn't say scaring off, but feeling panicky and pulling off, but she handled it well. And I try to send her off slowly, just to build confidence, to let her know everything is okay. That's what we're doing, right? I thought she did really well. This is the first time being saddled. As much as it seems like it's not, I promise it is. She's just really good-minded she was good-minded with handling pressure. This is the first time I didn't cut out the first time she moved. This is the first time she didn't buck the first day. She only bucked the second day when I lunged her. She didn't buck when I got on her any days, which was very pleasing to me. As you can see, we got her to move a little bit easier. And we got her to face up pretty easy too. And it does seem like I move on pretty quickly with everything, but I didn't want to make a long, boring video, so I tried to put the parts in that I felt like, or I guess I shouldn't say important, the stuff that I felt like was just the most important, because now that I watch the video back again and again, I see stuff that's missing, but it would be really long if I put everything in that was important, because to me every step is very important. And it's another thing I'm big on. I take my time getting on. I know it seems like I get on pretty quickly, but it didn't take long for me to build the confidence and feel like she built the confidence for me to get on. And yeah, she's a little bit stubborn when I get on. She doesn't really want to move with me on her back, but she doesn't seem to me to be scared, just stubborn. I thought she was quite comfortable during the first whole ride. She didn't want to move, as you can see. I had problems getting her moving, so I had my pen wrangler come in then after a while and push me around. And that's another thing. If I have to beat on my horses, which I'm not just beating on her, I'm just kind of working harder than she was here, but I was just trying to kind of, without being mean, communicate to her what I want. But like I was saying, I'm big on having somebody push me around, because it goes so much faster to mix something with what they know already with something that I'm trying to teach them. And here you can see it worked perfectly well. She moved off good. It was a little bit wet, so I had to be a little bit careful. I don't. You'll probably notice that a little bit. I don't know if not, but either way, I did get her to lope then. She didn't try to buck. I didn't cut any bucking out. As much as I did cut out, that's not what I cut out. This was in fact the first day, and I had a little bit of my hour and a half left, so I decided to introduce her to moving over a tarp. That's not the first time. She hesitated for a while, but we went back and forth and got her to move over. Maybe that would have been an important part to put in. I don't know. It wasn't forced. I asked her very nicely, and as you can see, it worked. I'd say that was a pretty good first day. And right here's the second day. I did lunge her loose, and I just moved or oh yes, get those feelings out. I'd say that's good, because I know that she kind of got her feelings out. Maybe not all of them, but she'll get them out. I like seeing that, because she'll get it out, and I don't feel like she's all pinched up. Then when I get on, she wasn't half as stubborn today as she was yesterday. Moved really well, or that's what I thought. And Here a little bit, you can see how nicely she faces up. Oh yes, I love that. Very nice. And again today she was stubborn. I couldn't get her to move off very well. And I did in fact use my pen wrangler to have her push me, to be pushed around. I don't show that. But after I had my pen wrangler push me around, I was able to get her to trot off to lope really well, which felt like a big accomplishment for the second day. And I felt like I shouldn't say felt. I had good control over her face. She flexed well. I don't think I showed you any of that, but she turned in well. She turned to the outside well. I could stop her into a turn like you just saw there. That was kinda into a turn. She wanted to stop there, obviously, but that's what the goal is, right? And I'm big on letting them rest. I don't let her rest very long right there, but I do let my horses rest a lot and just make them feel good about what they did and tell them they did the right thing. That goes a long way. I'm loving how good she's riding around. And I think this was almost the first time trying to get her to ride over the tarp. She did hesitate a little bit. And here's the third day. There's not much groundwork I don't show any groundwork on the first day. I did do my groundwork. She did really well. Wasn't stubborn. Moved around really nice. And I don't know why you can't see as well in this video, but guess it is what it is. I didn't have to have my pen wrangler push me around today. She moved right off really well. Didn't have to beat on her. I did get it back out of her without much problems. Got her to flex well. And here I move on to the tarp and the wooden plank. She walked over without hesitation the first time, but this isn't the first time. And I did mess with her feet every day. I don't show it, obviously, but this is the first time for today, and she did well. Or I felt like she did well with that. But yeah, here's my video. It was in fact her first 3 days, and I hope my training showed well. I don't edit videos, so I guess bear with me on that part. It could have been done better, but this is the first video I've ever edited. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed.